We're about to dive into the most important, most complicated, and honestly, the most powerful story you will ever get to tell. And the biggest twist? You're the one writing it. Just let that sink in for a second. We spend our whole lives being told to look forward, right? Plan for the future, set new goals. But what if the real key to a happier, more meaningful life is actually hiding in your past? Today, we're going to unpack the science and the simple steps you can take to turn your own life story into a tool for well-being. So stick with us, because this idea might just change everything you thought you knew about getting older. To really get why looking back is so powerful, we first have to talk about a huge challenge that pretty much all of us will face as we get older. A really brilliant psychologist named Erik Erikson called this the final conflict of our lives. He said that once we hit about 65, we all start doing this thing called a life review. It's like our brain's way of looking back at all the choices, the wins, the losses, and trying to make peace with the life we've lived. And this is where we end up, on one of two paths. On the one hand, you've got integrity. That's a feeling of wholeness, of peace, where you can look back and say, you know what? It was my life, and I accept it. But on the other side, there's despair, and that's that awful feeling of regret, of wishing you could go back and change things, knowing that you're out of time. The stakes are, well, they're incredibly high. So if we all have to do this life review, how do we steer ourselves towards integrity and away from despair? Well, the answer is a practice that, believe it or not, used to be seen as a really bad thing. For decades, professionals thought reminiscing was a sign that an older person was just stuck in the past, maybe even losing their grip. But then, in 1963, a study by Dr. Robert Butler totally flipped that idea on its head. He showed that looking back is a natural, healthy process. It's literally the mind's way of sorting through a lifetime of experiences to find meaning. And this quote from Professor Faith Gibson just shows how much things have changed. She sees reminiscence not as a sign of weakness, but as a superpower. It's not just about remembering old times. It's about using those memories to heal, to connect, and to make your life better right now. And the benefits are real. When you engage with your own story, it reminds you of who you are and boosts your self-worth. It also fights off loneliness by creating incredible connections with others. It can even help caregivers give better, more personalized support. It's a way of making sense of the whole journey. Okay, so we've covered the why. Now, let's get practical. How do you actually start doing this? How do you craft your life story in a way that feels good? I want to share a little bit of a poem that was found after a patient passed away in a nursing home. It gets to the heart of everything we're talking about. It starts with this really powerful challenge. It's this beautiful reminder that inside every person, no matter their age, there is a whole vibrant universe of memories and feelings. The joys, the pain, they don't just disappear. They are the person. And that final line, wow, that's the whole point, right? To truly see another person, you have to see their story. And, just as importantly, to truly know yourself, you have to connect with your own. So, where do you begin? Well, one of the simplest and most powerful ways is to create a memory box. And this isn't about hoarding things. It's about collecting specific items that trigger a memory. A photo, an old concert ticket, a piece of jewelry. Anything that can unlock a story. It's a physical way to reconnect with your past. Or if you're a more visual person, you could try something like a life story map, where you chart out the highs and lows of your journey. Or a life flower, where each petal represents a key person or time in your life. These aren't just arts and crafts, they're really powerful tools for self-reflection. Now, this whole process of looking back works so much better when it's supported by building a strong, resilient mind in the present moment. And here's the best part. Resilience isn't some fixed trait that you either have or you don't. It's a skill. It's like a muscle that you can actually strengthen over time by focusing on your mental and emotional health. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Here are 3 super simple practices you could start. Just a few minutes of meditation each day, taking a mindful walk where you actually pay attention to what's around you, or gratitude journaling, which is a scientifically proven way to shift your brain toward the positive. These things ground you, and that makes it so much easier to look back on your life with clarity and compassion. So, we've talked about the psychology behind this and some practical things you can do. But let's get to the big question. Does it actually work? What does the science say? Well, this is a total game changer. Check out this data from a National Institutes of Health study. The group that actually did life review therapy saw their quality of life scores jump up significantly, and the group that didn't, their scores actually went down. This isn't just a feel-good idea. This is a scientifically proven way to improve your well-being.
So here it is, the big takeaway. Looking back isn't about getting stuck in the past. It's an active, forward-looking process. It's about taking all the raw material of your life and shaping it into a story that brings you peace and gives you meaning. And as we just saw, that has a real, measurable impact on your quality of life.
Your past might be written in stone, but your perspective on it, that can always change. The story isn't over. By choosing to engage with it, you get to take control of the narrative. You get to decide what it all means. So the only question left is, what's your final chapter going to be about?